Hey guys, how's it going? Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that I am going to be doing a 12-hour live stream over on my Twitch channel. Link for that in the description below. 12-hour live stream with the release of Cosmic Eclipse, new set releasing today, later today. Going to be doing a 12-hour live stream starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time and then going to about 12 midnight / 1 a.m. Into the next day. So be sure to check that out. New sets releasing on PTCGO. All the new cards are going to be available. Going to be opening up 300 packs of Cosmic Eclipse, and then hopefully that's enough to build whatever I want out of the new set. And then that's my plan, is to just get right into it, start building decks, playing out, testing the new cards. So be sure to check that out. Like I said, 12 p.m. Eastern. I'll be starting out between 12 and 1 p.m. Eastern later today. Besides that, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my sponsor and team, Dead Draw Gaming, deaddrawgaming.com. If you guys need codes or cards from the new set, be sure to head over there. Use code AzulGG for 5% off your entire order. So let's go ahead and get right into today's video. We're going to be taking a look at what I consider to be the top 5 trainer cards coming out of the new set. And the first one we have here is Red and Blue. Red and Blue says we can search our deck for a GX Pokemon that evolves from one of our Pokemon in play, and then put that Pokemon to evolve it. Now you can't use this. You still have to follow the evolution rules. You can't use it on your first turn, or the first turn a Pokemon is put into play. You still have to wait a turn to be able to evolve the Pokemon. The added effect though is when we do play the card, we can discard 2 cards from our hand and then search our deck for 2 basic energy cards and attach them to the Pokemon we evolved. So I think there's actually a lot of potential behind this card, and maybe we'll start bringing evolution decks back into the format. We're getting a lot of interesting cards for evolution specifically that this card could definitely combo with. I haven't put too much thought into this card yet. The only thing I can really pick out of right now would potentially be the evolutions. Besides that, I'm not too sure, but evolutions at the very least I could see this card being played with. Besides that, I'm not sure. Maybe we see Weezing make a return with this card. You get the Weezing out, and instead of having to go find that triple acceleration energy, we get 2 basic energy and attach them to them. I don't know. This card, very powerful card, even if it never sees play. Like I said in my last video where I did my top 10 Pokemon, I'm basing most of this list off just of the raw power of the card. And even if this card never sees play, it is still a very, very, very powerful card in and of itself, and it could definitely see it. I could definitely see it having play, at least in expanded at some point. So whether or not it'll be good in standard, we'll have to wait and see. But a very powerful card nonetheless. Moving right along to number 4, I do have the Amulet. We can attach this to one of our Pokemon EX or GX. Well, we can attach it to any of our Pokemon, but when it's attached to a Pokemon EX or GX, it reduces the HP by 100. But when the Pokemon is knocked out, our opponent takes 1 less prize card. So this card, I think, is pretty ridiculously strong, especially when it's comboed with Chaotic Swell, to prevent our opponent from being able to use Lysander Labs to get around it. Just like theoretically what you could do with this card, you make your opponent have to knock out 3 Pikarams. The big one on the top of my list to try out though is making our opponent knock out 3 Guardians. We put this on, we can play a deck with just 3 Guardians now. A lot of new cards are coming out that are pretty good with Guardian. We put this on one of our Guardians, they knock out that Guardian, they get 2 prizes. They knock out another Guardian, they go 3 prizes, they go down to 1 prize, we reset stamp them to 1, and then they still have to get through another Guardian after all that. So I think the potential for this card is really high. I think it'll definitely see play, not only in just in standard, but also in expanded. Forcing your opponent to knock out 3 tag teams in a game is a pretty big deal in my opinion. So yeah, I definitely see this card being played for sure. How good will it actually be? Once again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't like putting too much emphasis on how bad or good cards can be until I've actually played and tested with them. Overall, though, I think this card is very solid and will definitely see play, if not immediately, definitely at some point in the standard and expanded formats. Next up, we have the Chaotic Swell Stadium card. Now, this is one of the cards coming out of the new set that I think might potentially be too powerful, but I'm not 100% convinced yet that it's even that ridiculously good. Once again, gotta get some testing in with it before I feel it's for sure going to be that good. But what this card allows us to do is, or what this card does is, while it's in play, if our opponent, if anyone tries to put a stadium card in play that is not Chaotic Swell, obviously, instead of that stadium going into play, that stadium gets discarded, as well as Chaotic Swell getting discarded. So both stadiums get discarded. And it basically means that if you're a deck that doesn't want to let your opponent be able to utilize stuff like Power Plant or Lysander Labs, you can just run 4 of these and you put Chaotic Swell in play. And this would combo really well with the Amulet tool card that we just talked about. Put the Amulet in play. Maybe your opponent plays Lysander Labs, but you're like, all right, Chaotic Swell. And then they're like, all right, I'm going to put Lysander Labs in play. All right, Lysander Labs gets discarded. This gets discarded. Your Amulet stays alive. Back over to your turn. You put another Chaotic Swell in play. Your opponent, once again, cannot put their Lysander Labs in play to try and get any effect out of it. So, and same thing if you're playing a deck that doesn't want to deal with Power Plants. If you're like, I really do not want my opponent to be able to utilize Power Plant. Maybe you're playing the new Persian GX that says Tag Team Pokemon can't attack it. And you're like, all right, we're playing up against a Tag Team deck. Put Chaotic Swell in play. Now you can't put Power Plant in play. Maybe they put a Stadium in play, bump your Chaotic Swell. You're like, all right, here's another one. And now, once again, you can't put Power Plant in play. And you just kind of lock your opponent out from being able to put their Stadium in play. So this is definitely a card that I think could potentially come up with some issues of just kind of being too powerful when comboed with other cards and limiting potential stadiums that your opponent can play. So I am a little scared of this card potentially being too good. I definitely think it's very strong. Hopefully it's not too good. That's what I'm hoping for. I never want cards to be too good. So I think this card is very strong. Hopefully not too powerful. Hopefully stays in, like, you know, the balanced area of things, that we don't have to worry about it getting out of control. That's what I'm hoping for anyways. Moving along to number 2, I do have the Tag Whistle. Search your deck for up to 2 tag team cards and put them into your hand. When I initially read this, I thought it meant tag team Pokemon, but I kind of didn't realize that we did have the tag team supporters coming out. So this card up here at my number 2, just for it's being a pretty ridiculous card. One of the decks that I think is going to be strongest in is Guardian. You'll be able to search for your tag team supporters, probably the Caitlyn and Cynthia, as well as the Guardians. You probably just won't even play Cherish Ball in the deck anymore because you have the Amulet that can now turn, make it so your opponent has to KO 3 Guardians instead of 2 Guardians and a Xerneas. So another card that is going to make Guardian pretty ridiculous in my opinion is this Tag Whistle, and definitely one of the most powerful cards just in the set in general. Searching for 2 tag team cards, especially I expect the tag team supporters to be fairly powerful. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that for sure. Maybe we'll need another set or 2 before they really kick in, but at least in Guardian anyways, I see this card being ridiculous. It's probably going to be pretty ridiculous in quite a few other decks. And yeah, just super strong card, not too much to it. That's it, our number 2 slot. And of course, at number 1, we do have Great Catcher. One of the few trainer cards that I think will for sure be played in many decks. Pretty much replacing Custom Catcher entirely, maybe pushing Custom Catcher almost entirely out of the meta, unless a deck was maybe playing like 4 Custom Catchers and 2 Great Catchers. Discard 2 cards from your hand, switch one of your opponent's benched GX or EX Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So it only can bring up, or it only has a gust effect for GX and EX Pokemon, but that's pretty much the only thing you want to be gusting up anyways for the most part in the current format, in the current meta. So it's really not too much of a drawback, especially when it's not like Custom Catcher where you have to have 2 of the cards in your hand. It doesn't have the effect where you get to, you know, just play down 1 of them and draw 2 cards, but you're not going to be playing 4 Great Catchers in a deck. You'll probably be playing 2 to 3. If I had to guess, I would say most decks will be playing 2, which means you just get to open up 2 spots in your deck if you're playing Custom Catchers before, and that should make up for the fact that you don't get to play down just 1, or you can't choose to just play it to draw up to 3 cards in your hand, which has been a lifesaver personally for me when I have played Custom Catchers, but getting the extra 2 spots to your deck should make up for that just fine, and I don't think it'll be that big of a deal that that effect won't exist in the deck anymore. So yeah, Great Catcher, not too much to say on it. It kind of just replaces Custom Catcher that we've already had in decks for a while. Some decks that didn't play Custom Catcher before will now play Great Catchers. So yeah, definitely the most powerful trainer card coming out of the new set. I expect it to be played in most decks. That's it. That's all I got on this one, man. Custom Catcher was already good, so that means this thing is just better because it's more efficient than Custom Catcher. Sure, you have to discard the 2 cards at your hand, but that shouldn't be too much of a drawback for only having to find 1 of them at a time. Especially in decks like Pikarom, where they try and use stuff like Volkner anyways to get the one card they want for turn out of the deck. Now, instead of having to somehow come up with 2 Custom Catchers, you can just go Volkner for your Great Catcher and go from there. But yeah, that's it. Those are the top 5 trainer cards, in my opinion, coming out of the new set. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with this top 5? Is there something you think I should have included in the top 5. Remember, I'm kind of just looking for what I think are the top 5 most powerful, neutrally powerful trainer cards, not with a specific deck or with a specific combo, just like as a card, how good is this card as a card? Irrelevant of format, irrelevant of meta. So yeah, those are my 5. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks for watching, and peace.